Wrong screen. Oh, hello. Hello. Can everybody hear me? Am I live? Can everybody hear me and see me and all that good stuff? Hope so. Otherwise, don't know what's going wrong. So you better be able to hear me. Otherwise, bit of a worry. Grand. Welcome in, everyone. Hope we're all ready to do some maths today. Fun. How's everyone been? Let's get that out of the way first. How has everyone been today? How's everyone doing? On this lovely Monday. It's been rather warm today, actually. Went out for a walk. It was lovely. How's it been for everyone else? Tired? Yeah. Classic Monday, isn't it? I think everyone's tired on Mondays. Yeah, it's half term, so I had lessons at like 10 a.m. and I'm not used to getting up at 10 a.m. Not anymore. Not these days. So I had to wake up at like, 9? Oh, couldn't do it. I was exhausted. That's probably a bit rich coming from me. Probably, people going to school probably get up a lot earlier than I do. So you're probably all laughing at me right now. But physics first lesson and math last lesson, ouch. I mean, at least it's like kind of wrapping up on like an overall note, you know. Maths in the morning, they're just in context, and then maths in the evening, just kind of out of context. It's all, at least it's like a nice rounded day, you know. Maths morning, maths evening. It's nice and whole, you know. Okie dokie, and then on a school trip. Oh, nice. Where'd you go? Unless it's somewhere very specific. I couldn't know which school you went to. Don't tell me if it is. But if it's somewhere like broad, where'd you go? Anyway, good. I'm going on loads of places in school trips. I used to love school trips. I think everyone likes school trips, don't they? But my favourite one, where did I go? I went to Paris one year. That was fun. Art museum's fun. I don't think I've ever actually been to an art. Oh no, I have. I haven't been to an art museum. I think I have. I lived in London for a little while, so I've been to the big one in London, whatever that's called. I never remember. Not the Tate Modern, the other one, the fancier one in Central. I guess actually Tate Modern is also in Central, but you get what I mean. And then I went to a couple in Germany, but yeah, I'm not really big one for art museums. That sounds fun though. Get you out of school for a little bit, doing some, I don't know, walking around. I went to a lot of steel museums when I did my degree. That was fun. Just a day off lessons, which was nice. Cool then. So, shall we do some maths? Get right started and get in with it today. So hopefully you all have a nice beverage. Hopefully you're all ready. We're going to do quadratics today. Fun times. Quadratics they come up all the time, right? All your GCSE maths, whether you're, mostly higher, but it doesn't matter if you're doing foundation, they do come up there as well, but mostly higher, you'll see a quadratic like around every corner. They could start a question that you think, oh, this is like a shape question, or a probability question, or I don't know, a ratio question. All of a sudden, out of the blue, you've got a quadratic. Like, they can come out of anywhere. They lurk around every corner, the quadratics. They can spring out from any bush, you know. Quadratic formula. Yeah, you can do. I mean, if you're doing paper 1, then you don't need quadratic formula for that, you know. Paper 1, a quadratic formula, that's a drag. You know, as the ages, takes so much time for so little when you could just do factorising. Easy peasy. Much easier than formula. You're right, the formula does exist. I won't do that today because the formula is kind of a faff for all involved. But if you're in paper 1, you still have to factorise. Because sometimes it'll make it a requirement. But anyway, now I'm just rambling. Any questions before we begin? Before we get started? So I can cease my rambling and we can do some maths. Any initial questions before we get started? Will there be a live going over exam paper questions, like what's in each? We can do. It's just, so what I'm aiming to do is, because with maths, because we're doing all exam boards, pretty much. So we can't really go over specific exam paper questions because they're very different, right? AQA, like they're wordy questions that don't make any sense. EdXL, like they're straightforward questions that are really hard. OCR, like to help you with the laying out, but then ask vague questions to help, so they help you up with the laying out to help you. And there's the IGCSE, which do different things. So we're trying to do kind of an overarching stuff, so things that everyone needs to know how to do, essentially. So there is questions in these lives. They're just kind of more not really, they're not example specific, but they could be like in any exam board, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like they're just like EdExcel, or they're just AQA, or they're just OCR, or they're just like WJEC, something silly. Well, not really silly, but you get what I mean. Something like niche. So that's the plan. So we're going to essentially just do exam questions. I'm going to like talk you through them, but they won't be like from like, cause I know you probably also know the TikTok lives, like I've seen them all the time, where like a person will just go through papers like on the live. That would be that. Well, that's not what I'm doing, but it'll be something vaguely similar, just topic specific, if that makes sense. Cool. Any other questions? So I can stop rambling. Any other questions before I get started? Hopefully the camera quality is better this time. I don't know if you were here last time, but I changed the aspect ratio on my camera, so hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's better. Any more questions? I'm assuming not. Cool. Let's get going then. Let's get started. So let me change my screen. Showtime. Grand. Hopefully the scene should have changed and you can all see my camera and you can all see my PowerPoints. Is that true? Can we all see my PowerPoints? Is that correct? Hello? Yes? Grand. Okie dokie then. Cool. Okay. Let us start then. Let's make a start. So, these were in the description. These are starters. I know someone's already done them. Someone's already had a go. But if you want to have a couple of minutes, this is what we did last time. So last week, feel free to watch it back. The VOD's already uploaded on YouTube somewhere on their channel. Feel free to watch it back if you like. But we did factorising and expanding linear expressions next week. So we're just kind of building upon that. So if you'd like to have a go at these, we've got factorise fully 12m plus 8m squared. And then expand 7 lots of 2h minus 3. Okie dokie. So, I shall let you have a go at those. I shall give you a moment, a brief second, while I have a little sip of water. But you guys have a little go at those. Let me know when you're all done. Or let me know when you're just ready to move on, I guess, if you don't want to do them. Can't force you. Grand. It's looking good, looking good. Perfect, perfect. Getting some good answers in the chat. Perfect, perfect. Absolutely right. Cool then. Let's go through it. So, in case anyone didn't understand. So, factorising fully means we need to take out the highest common factor. So, we could pull out 2 from these, but the highest one is, as you've all said, 4. Absolutely right. So, we're going to pull out a 4. And then, that's the numbers dealt with. Let's look at the letters. The letters have both M there and M there. So, I'm going to pull out an M. Pull that out there. Open bracket, 4 times 4 by gets to 12, that is 3, M is already dealt with. 4 times 4 by gets to 8, 2, M to get to M squared needs another M. Ta-da! And there we have it. Cool, moving on. Then we've got expand 7 lots of 2h minus 3. So I'm going to do 7 times by this 2h, 7 times 2, 14. And then no letters to times the h by, so h stays as it is. Then 7 times minus 3 is 7, 14 minus 21. Ta-da! Well done, everyone. Off to a grand start. Cool, so that was last week. Feel free, if you didn't understand what I was doing there, feel free to watch back the VOD if you would like. I was doing a lot more of those last week as well. So the VOD's on the channel if you would like to watch it. Moving on. Okay, so main crux of today then, we're going to start with expanding first. It's going to be the first job. And then we're going to do factorising a little bit later. We should hopefully have time for grade 5 and grade 7 factorising. Fingers crossed. So we'll speed on through and hopefully we'll have time for both of those. Cool, moving on. Right then, so expand and simplify this set of double brackets here. So we've got x plus 7 and x minus 3. So what method do we all use to expand double brackets? I've seen all sorts of stuff. My time as a tutor, I have seen the same methods be called so many different things. I've heard rainbow, I've heard crab claw, I've heard smiley face, I've heard foil, I've heard all sorts of stuff. a whole assault with a whole array of different words representing the same expanding. Use foil, that's what I use. I was taught foil, so I normally teach foil as well. What else do people use? Grid. Oh, grid. I think I've never heard that one before. I'm assuming it's like grid multiplication, which is what I have used. Well, that's what was taught for multiplication. So I'm assuming it's that, but fun. What other methods do people use? We've got foil, we've got grid. Foil all the way, yeah. Grand. We do indeed. Oh, Streamlabs Spot's working. Oh, someone must have fixed it. I couldn't get it working last time, but there's been other streams on since with Fliss and Anketia. So someone must have got it working. Oh, that's good. Well, Streamlabs Bot is also going to be here. That's the someone who does. that's the bot in the chat right now. Just making sure we're all being responsible. Cool then. Okie dokie. So, with foil, first thing we're going to do is write out our letters. We've got F-O-I-L. So foil just keeps us all keeps it all linear, right? Make sure we don't forget anything. I used to be a pain for forgetting doing one of the multiplications. It was awful. I used to be rubbish at it. But with foil, it keeps you like, okay, you do one, then the other, then the other, then the other. Every time, no change without fail, because we love consistency. So first, you're going to times the two initial ones together, the two first ones in each bracket together, which is going to be that one and that one. So it's going to be x times x, x squared. Then we are going to do the two outer ones together, so the ones on the outermost edges of the brackets. That's going to be that one and that one. We'll do x times minus 3x. Then we're going to do the two inner ones together, so the ones that are like almost touching on the innermost sides of the brackets. Going to be that one and that one, which is then plus 7x. Then we're going to do the last ones for this L here, which is the two ones on like the outer edge of the bracket. Whichever way it is, I think it's flipped for you guys, but whichever way is the ones on the last ones we haven't done yet. That one and that one, which is 7, 14, minus 21. Again, and there we have it. So have we all understood how to get to this stage? Does it all make sense? We all making sense? We all good? Do we all understood what I have done there? Yeah? Grand. Perfect. And then from here, so we've done the expanding bit now. That bit is done. We need to do the simplifying bits as of right now. And which two things in here can we simplify? Which two bits, how can we simplify? Which two bits? What can be brought together? The x's. We can indeed. Perfect. We can't bring together the x squared and the 21s, or the x squared and just the x's, because those are what I call different families or different terms, right? They end in different things, so they can't be brought together. But these two, these ends in the exact same thing. So we're going to do minus 3 plus 7. And what's that going to give us? Testing the delay. I think it's a little bit more delayed today than it was last time, but hey ho, what can you do? Minus 3 plus 7. Perfect. Thank you, Amina. It is indeed 4x. Grand. X squared plus 4x minus 1. 21. And that is our expanded set of double brackets. Cool. And there I have it. Grand. How are we all feeling about that one? Feeling good? Feeling confident? Hope so. We're going to do a couple more anyway. If we're not, we're going to do a couple more. So do not worry if not. All good? Good. Moving on then. What about this one here? Going negative this time. Uh-oh. Negatives are pesky. So you have a go at this. X plus 3, x minus 3. If you want to be fancy, it's technically a difference of 2 squares, which is quite exciting. So, what are we going to get for this one? Let you guys have a minute. Let's have a little think-a-brew about this. X plus 3, x minus 3. Difference of 2 squares. Okay, Mina, looking good. Looking fantastic. Thank you, Walid. In the simplified form. Perfect, perfect. Absolutely right. Grand. So let's go through it in case anyone's a bit stuck. So we're going to write out letters again. We've got F, O, I, L. First, outside, inside, last. We're going to times the first two together, which is that one and that one, to get x squared, as we normally do. Quadratic will always have x squared in it. Good to know. Then we have outside, that one and that one, minus 3x. Inside, that one and that one, plus 3x. And then last, that one and that one. 3 times minus 3, minus 9. Grand. Okie dokie. Then, as we did before, I'm going to simplify those two guys there, and they go, poof, off they go, because they cancel out. Plus 3 minus 3 makes us 0, so they just disappear. So we get x squared minus 9. Ta-da! And there we have it. Cool. All making sense? Hopefully. We all good with that? Hopefully. How are we all feeling? Anyone have any questions? I should probably ask. Any questions before we continue? Good, 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 good. Yeah, so this stuff's about a grade 5. So if you did have a quadratic, depending on the paper, depending on the exam board, it'd be like right by the ends of the paper on foundation. And this could be right throughout, anywhere in the paper on higher. But it'd normally, if it was a question on its own like this to expand and simplify, then it'd be right at the beginning of a higher paper. If it was just like embedded in a question, it would be anywhere in the paper. Could come up anywhere. Spring from any corner. Anywhere at all. Cool then, moving on. See what else we've got. Okay, let's do this one. So we'll do this with the last one before we do some factorising, so that'll take us a bit longer. Cool then, expand and simplify 4y plus 3, bracket, bracket, 2y minus 3. So we've got numbers in front of our initial letter as well, make it a little bit harder. Let you guys have a little think about that one. So if it looks like I'm like looking off camera, because the chat is like here, so when I look at the chat it looks like this. So it looks like I'm like not looking at the camera. So apologies if I don't look like I'm looking you in the eye. I can stare if you like, but cool. What were you all thinking? It's a bit trickier, this one, to be like right top of grade 5. Right up there. Tricky, tricky. Perfect, all coming in quick succession. All took very similar times to times do them, which is quite funny. All took exactly the same length of time. Cool. Okie dokie then. So expand and simplify 4y plus 3, 2y minus 3. So, perfect. What we're going to do, we're going to times the first by the first because it's FOIL yet again. Always the same, always consistent. 4y times 2y is indeed 8y squared. Just times the numbers together, then times the letters together. So all you need to do, times the numbers and then times the letters. Okie dokie. And then outside, 4y times minus 3, 4 times 3 minus 12, y times no other letters, stick it on the end. Then we've got 3 times 2y, which is plus 6 for the numbers, just y with the letters. And then plus 3 minus 3, which is minus 9. Cool. Okie dokie then. And then we've just got to simplify these, bring these middle ones together, easy peasy. 8y squared minus 12 plus 6 minus 6y minus 9. Okie dokie. Grand. Now I think it's time people have a spamming symbols when they're just trying to put in their answers. If you have been timed out, don't worry about it. It's only Streamlabs. It's not going to go anywhere. I think they time you out for like 1 second and that's it. So if they are timing you out, don't worry about it. No one's gonna tell you off or anything. It's just Streamlabs being a little bit particular. If I might turn it off later actually for the symbols. So if you've been timed out, I do sincerely apologise. Streamlabs is a little bit confused sometimes. That's all Streamlabs is. Grand. Okay. It's okay, don't worry. It's not your fault. It's meant to protect against people spamming, like, loads of exclamation marks. I was saying, like, because obviously you got 200, you got 200, like, characters that you can type in the chat. This is not people from doing, like, 200 exclamation marks or 200 question marks. Then it's just going to fill up my chat screen, you know? So it's preventing against people doing that. But I think it's picking up that that different thing, like, because obviously you got symbols like this, and you got minuses, and then you got pluses as well. It's picking up all those symbols together, and it's marking it as being like a 2 symbol heavy message, but it's like wrong. Like, don't worry about it, it's fine. If it does keep timing you out, maybe add more spaces, because it marks percentage of message, like percentage of message as symbols. So if you keep getting timed out, maybe add some more characters that aren't symbols, and I don't know, it won't time you out, I don't think. Cool then. Anyway, moving on. Let's just keep going. Grand. So, on to then factorising. So, factorising, as I said earlier, can creep up around any corner. Factorising can come up all the time, everywhere, right? Factorising can come up anywhere. So, factorise double brackets, very important skill to know about. So, factorise a squared plus 15a plus 36. So what method do we all use for factorising? What are we all thinking? What method do we use for factorising? Do we all know how to do this? What are we all thinking? You guys have a little go at it. So yeah, but if you're getting timed out, don't worry about it. You're not in trouble or anything. Just the bot being a bit overzealous. Well, I think that's the bad word, not a different word, but the bot's being a bit over keen, I think is the word I meant to say, a bit keen. Now, we're looking good. It's looking good so far. A plus 12, A plus 3. Looking good. Perfect. Right. So let me go through it then, in case anyone else is a bit stuck. This is the one method that like everyone always forgets how to do. In all my years of teaching, everyone always forgets how to factorise quadratics. I have to go back to it time and time and time again. So this is the way I always do it. Obviously, teachers may have different methods. Every teacher, I think, has a different method of factorising quadratics, or so it seems. In my years of teaching, literally every student has a different method for it. This is the one that I do. So it's different to one your teacher has, and you don't like it as much, ignore me. It's in one ear, out the other. Use your teachers. Doesn't matter. But it's how I do it. So what I always do is I always times to make whatever the last number is. In this case, 36. Then I add to make whatever the middle number is. In this case, is 15. I'm going to find two numbers that times to make 36 and add to make 15. So to do that, I'm going to figure out... Perfect. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing. Perfect, perfect. I'm going to figure out what my factors are of 36. So I'm going to do 1 and 36. Not that one. Those are too big. 2 and 18. That's it. Mental maths, not my strong suit. Not that one. Also, just out there, I think. And then we've got 3 and 12. Actually, hang on. Yeah, just out there. We've got 3 and 12. Grand. There we have it. I think there's more. There's 4 and 9. But that also won't work. So, no need for that one. 3 and 12. Then, what I'm going to do is... Signs aren't really a problem here because they're both pluses. So, don't like to bother with it. But I could think about it anyway. Plus 3, plus 12. That's going to be positive 15, positive 36. Easy peasy. Then I'm just going to put those into brackets. A is going to go in both. So when I expand it, I'm going to do first, which is A times A. Get me A squared. And it's going to be plus 3 and plus 12. Well done, everyone. Who got that? Perfect, perfect. Cool. Does anyone have any questions about any of that? Is it all making sense? Hope so. Be good if it did. How are y'all feeling? How are y'all doing? All making sense? Doesn't matter which order these brackets go in, by the way. They can be A plus 12, A plus 3, or A plus 3, A plus 12. Both the same. doesn't matter because there's a secret hidden times sign in there. So times can be done in any order and go back and forth. Doesn't really matter. Cool then. So another one. So let's move on. What about this one? X squared minus 8x plus 7. What are we going to get for there? So feel free to have a go. Take your time. Mute me if you don't want to hear me rambling. But what are we going to do for this one? X squared minus 8x plus 7. Easy. Well, it's for some people. Not everyone though. Some people find it easy, some people don't. I mean, it's still like, this is like still top of grade 5 core stuff. So, top of the foundation paper, hey. Yeah, I mean, some people do find it easy. But not everyone. So, might as well cover it, you know. No point leaving people behind, is there? No point in doing that. Yeah, perfect. It's looking good, looking good. Grand. So we're going to times make the last number, times make 7. Luckily for us, 7 is prime, so no thinking about that. Luckily for us, 7 is prime, so we've got times to make 7 and add to make then minus 8. So we're going to add times to get 1 and 7 because it's prime. So we're doing that. And then to get minus 8, but then still times to get positive 7, has to either be 2 pluses, 2 minuses, but that one doesn't work. We need a minus 8. So it'll be minus and a minus. So then I'm going to put these in our brackets. X minus 1, x minus 7. Grand. Fun times. Cool. Fun. All making sense, everyone? Everyone doing good? Oh, not this week for SERDs. I don't think I'm doing SERDs actually. If you are interested, I can get up near the end. I can get up what I'm going to do on every week. But SERDs, we aren't doing SERDs unfortunately. SERDs, because they're higher only as SERDs. I want to include foundation people as well. People are doing foundation paper. There's no point in doing just higher only topics or just foundation only topics. So I'm going to do ones that are a bit of both. Is what the plan is. Ones that are a bit of both. Cool. Moving on. What about this one? Factorise x squared minus 100. What about that one? X squared minus 100. It's the difference of 2 squares, which is quite fun. Difference of 2 squares. What about this one? Is indeed. No, I shall not be doing SERDs, unfortunately. So if you're getting tired of signing symbols, oh, Streamlabs. It's been very upset, isn't it? Been very upset, Streamlabs. Very upset. It's looking good though. Be a couple more minutes. Couple more minutes. Perfect. Grand. Okie dokie then. So, we can either learn that this is difference of 2 squares. So, it's either, well, it's always going to look the same, essentially. No, I am not doing SERDs. It is not happening. I'm not doing SERDs. I can't do SERDs. I have a set approved lesson plan, as per my bosses. Not happening, my guys. It is not happening. Unfortunately. Wish I could go off topic, but unfortunately I can't, so I shan't. So, difference of 2 squares is always going to be like consistent. It's always the same, right? It's x squared, take away literally any square number. Any at all. 2, well, not 2 because 2 is not square. Because I'm doing quadratics. What's the fun? We like quadratics. So it's going to be 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. X squared, take away any square number. So, grand. Oh, Streamlabs has been very upset today. Apologies. Ignore Streamlabs. You're not in trouble. I can still see messages before they get deleted though. So don't worry. If you still keep typing them, I can still see them. Even if Streamlabs deletes them. Cool. So, Then what we're going to do is, if it's equal to 2 squares, you just square root this x plus 10, x minus 10. It's a plus and a minus because this x term we're going to get, if we expanded it, it needs to cancel out. So we're going to do x times x squared, x times minus 10, minus 10x, 10 times x plus 10x, 10 times minus 10, minus 100. So these need to cancel out. So that's why we need a plus and a minus. That is fine. Yeah, I know. Streamlabs really upset with you all, isn't it? Streamlabs may give you attention. I won't, but Streamlabs might. If Streamlabs gets any more upset than it might do. Anyways, so that's that. Does that all make sense? That's why we need a plus and a minus. Or we can do that longer method we did a bit ago. So you can do times to make 100 in this case, or minus 100, and add to make nada. The only factors that are going to do that is factors that are like the same number. So it's got to be 10 and 10. There's plenty of other factors of 100, but 10 and 10. And then, there we are. Then it's plus and a minus, because it needs to add to make 0, so it needs to be a plus and minus. Nice and simple, nice and straightforward. Cool. All making sense? How are we feeling? How are we doing? Yeah, Streamlabs have been very upset. I'm going to change the settings after this, don't worry, I'll change it. So it's meant to be for people that spam like whole paragraphs of it, but I think Streamlabs are getting confused with like percentages. Because it's meant to go off percentages of like the percentage of a message that's a symbol. So if you do like 90% of your message is symbols, then it's going to like delete it, thinking it's not like a constructive comment. Does that make sense? Then you're just like spamming like exclamation mark or something. So it's meant to delete it based on percentages, but it's getting all confused. But yeah, same thing for spamming all caps as well. It meant to be so you don't shout at me, because shouting is not very nice. Because yeah, it meant to stop people shouting. You don't need to shout. I can still see all your messages. There's no need for shouting. Cool. Shall we do some grade 7 stuff? Shall we do some grade 7 expanding and factorising? Yeah. Should we do some grade 7? Yes? Feeling good? Grade 7 time? Groovy. Yes, grand. Easy peasy. Moving on then. Cool. So, grade 7 factorising. So again, every teacher on God's green earth has a different method for factorising double brackets, whether it's a grade 1, it's grade 7. Loads and loads and loads of different teachers, every single one. I've seen so many methods in my time of being a tutor. So many, right? And they're all very different. Some of them are very strange. Some of them take ages as well. So if you like mine, then feel free to use it. If you like your teachers, feel free to use it. You know, no one's trying to convince you or sway you onto the side of mine or theirs. But feel free to use whichever method you like the best. Mine, I think, is fastest, but it does sort of cheat a little bit. So if your teachers don't like it, then that's fine. You don't have to use it. But so mine is quickest, but it's also, you know, a bit cheaty. So bear that in mind. Not that you're going to get in trouble if you use it in an exam. Not that kind of cheaty. It's just they're not proper maths, essentially. So let you have a go at this one then. 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. How are we going to factorise that one? Do whichever method we know already before I show you mine. See, if you can't remember how to do it, can't remember your method you were taught in school, free to leave it for a second, because I will go through it in a moment. But there we are. Gosh, really warm today, isn't it? Really warm. Maybe I should take off my Christmas jumper. Maybe my Christmas jumper making me warm. No, they don't, Amina, unfortunately. Maybe that's a good idea, actually. Maybe I should do that. Sounds like a good idea. But I think the logistics of it, of having all your emails and sending them out to you every week, a bit logistically. So I made this like this morning. So logistically, I don't know if that's going to be implemented. But it is a good idea, actually. So you can have a go at them. But then that's half the point of the live stream, I guess, is being able to do them like while you're there, like while I'm waiting. I guess I like the point of it, like to be put on the spot, you know, so you can do them on the spot, right? Yes, it is, Akila. Yes, it is. Every Monday, 5 o'clock. I'm here Monday at 5. Fliss is here Tuesdays at 5. She does coding, and Enketia is here on Thursdays doing study skills, which is nice. Yeah, don't worry. Streamlabs bot is over keen, as Samuel said. Streamlabs bot is a little bit over keen, but don't worry, I can still see all your messages. If even if you put them and get deleted, you're not in trouble. Just put them in anyway. I'll be able to see them. I can see them anyway, so don't worry about it. I can still see them before they get deleted. So no one else can. I guess it's kind of nice actually. Then no one else will see your messages in case they'd have to be worried that you're wrong because no one else will see them anyway. So at least there's that. Yeah, always see the positives in the negative, you know. At least if you do get it wrong, no one will be able to see. Cool, let's do it then. So, this is my method. This is what I always do. Or again, if your teacher does it differently, it's not as if one method's right, one method's wrong. It's just the way that it is, right? Everyone has been taught something different and then has passed on something different. And they're an hour each. Are these ones? Yeah, they're an hour each. So we're going to end off at about 55, so we can have a bit of a chat for 5 minutes, just for a bit of a chin wag, and then I can go teach, and then you can go enjoy your evenings, which will be nice. Cool then. So first thing we're going to do is times again and adds again. Adding remains the same. Grade 5, grade 7, doesn't matter. Adding numbers, always some numbers, but we're always going to add to make 5. Times in this case, for grade 7, we're going to times to get the times. So we're going to times the first by the last to get 4. And this is now our list of numbers, much like we had for here. Much like here. Method doesn't change much at this point. So then we're going to do our factors of 4, which is 1 and 4, 2 and 2. That's a really good question, Akila. Save that for the end. Now I'll answer that at the end. So save that, store it in the brain, write it down, because I will answer that. Definitely. Oh, until that makes much more sense, Farah. Until like this mid-December, something like that. I think it's like 10 weeks or so of them. So like mid-December. I think it's like December 12th, I believe. But fact check me on that. I think it's December 12th. Cool then. So factorising to lose my train of thought. These are the pairs. So we're going to add this one and this one. This one's going to give us 5. So it'll be plus 4 and plus 1. So then what I do is I put this 2x in both of my brackets. It won't stay there, but it will go there for now. So I'm going to open it and put 2x plus 1 in one of them, and 2x, get rid of this other factor pair, plus 4 in the other. And then I'm going to look, okay, which of these brackets can I simplify? Hence it being a bit of like a cheaty method, because the numbers just kind of like disappearing, right? It's just kind of disappearing. So it's like kind of like a cheaty method, but not like they would mark you down for an exam. It's a perfectly sound method. It's just a little bit quicker than doing it formally. And then this one can't be simplified. All these numbers are as simple as they can be. So we're going to get 2x plus 1 for that. And then we're going to factor out like a 2 from here. That can be simplified by 2. 2 is going to like poof, disappear into thin air. And I'm going to get x plus 2. And that is a factorised grade 7 quadratic. There we are. So has anyone been taught that method in school? Is that something that people have seen before? Or people use different methods to solve this? What do we all think? Can people use different methods? Or people use this one? What have we all used? I've not seen this one before. I've seen someone seen this one before. Grand. Do people use the squiggly line method? So you split this into your 2 factors. So then you'd get like 2x squared plus like 1x, but ignore the 1, plus 4x plus 2, then put like a squiggly line down it. People use that one. That's another one. That's what I would. This is one that I was taught in school. I was taught this one. But this is the one that I got. It's simplified just because it wouldn't work otherwise, essentially. Hence it being a little bit cheaty because it's just kind of disappearing. But it wouldn't work otherwise because then we'd expand it and we'd times these 2 together and we get 4x squared. We don't what we wanted. We wanted 2x squared. So we've got to bring this 2x squared like down, like all this kind of 4x squared down to the 2x squared. So we've got to get rid of this 2 somehow. We also can't kind of get rid of it with this one. Hence kind of compensating for this, if that makes sense. So it kind of halves it all because it's compensating for that 2 being there. Yeah. Well, not because it needs to be as simple as possible. That is always true. Do things need to be as simple as possible. It's just that because that is technically simplified, right? It's just that it's not right. This is kind of how I can always, the only thing I can kind of say it. It's just not right if we don't simplify it, so we've got to simplify it in order for it to be correct. Otherwise, it's just wrong, if that makes sense. Not right. It's unsimplified. I don't need to simplify it because it just needs simplifying just because it's wrong otherwise. Hopefully that makes sense. We taught it last year. Cool. Yeah, people taught this in various different years. Cool. So the other one. What about this one? Using whichever method we like best. 2x squared minus x minus 1. What do we get for this one? 2x squared minus x minus 1. What do we think for that? Any other questions while everyone else is working through that? Is anyone else still a bit confused? Anyone else have any other questions about this method? Just the method. Any other questions we can do at the end? We've got 10 minutes that we can do those ones. But any questions about just the method, let me know while everyone else is working. Yeah, grand. Looking good. All in agreement so far. That's good. Perfect. Okie dokie then. Let's go through it. So, I'll use my method again just for consistency. But again, feel free to use any method you like to solve this question. So first thing we're going to do is times together times. We're going to times the first by the last, so in this case get minus 2. Then we're going to add to that number there, which is a sneaky hidden minus 1. So we're going to list our factors of minus 2, which is 1 and 2. That's all there is. It's 1 and 2. And then to get minus 1, we're going to do minus 2 plus 1. And there we have it. And then I'm going to put down my 2 brackets. I'm going to put a 2x in both of them. And then I'm going to put a plus 1. And then I'm going to put a minus 2. Okay. And then, again, this one can't be simplified because it's just a 2x plus 1. No numbers can be pulled out of there. So that's going to stay as it is. As 2x plus 1. And then a 2 can come out of this. So I'm going to factor out 2, divide by 2, and get x minus 1. Nice. Okie dokie. Grand. Cool. All making sense? Everyone happy? Happy campers? I'm assuming so. Everyone's gotten it right, which is real good. Any questions before we move on? Any questions at all? Yes, I can go through it again. Absolutely. I can indeed. I can go through it. And do you always put 2x or how does it work? So, first step is always times the first by the last to get this times a number. So I always do first is write these times and plus down. Then I just fill them in. So times get the times. 2 by minus 1 to get minus 2. Then add to get the middle, which in this case is minus 1. So this is just for grade 7. If there's no number in front, you'd have to do all this. This is just for number in front quadratics. This is grade 7. If there's a number there, then you do this method. Then you find your factors of this number here. So factors of that minus 2 there, which in this case is just 1 and 2 as the only factors because 2 is prime. So we're going to find factors of those, and then that's that. Then we put it into the brackets with 2x in first. So we're just, whatever number is there is whatever number we're going to put here. So in this case it's 2x. It was 2x in both those last cases actually, because the number in front was a 2. If it was like 3x squared, then you put 3x in both these brackets. If it was 5x, you put 5x squared, you put 5x in both these brackets. Does that make sense? And then we're just putting our factors that we found with the signs that work. So sign-wise, we're going to make it so it makes it, so it times us to get minus 2, plus and a minus is a minus, and then adds to make minus 1, plus 1 minus 2 is minus 1. I'm going to put all that in the brackets, and then this one can't simplify, so I'll just get that. This one, I can divide both of these by 2. One of these brackets will always need to simplify. Always, 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 always. So you're always going to be dividing by whatever number is there. Sometimes it'll be this one, sometimes it'll be this one, but it will always be you're dividing through where you can by this number in front. Does that make sense? I know I speak very quickly. This is a trait I know I have. But does that make sense, Akila? Because I know I speak very quickly. Do you have any other questions? Does that all make sense? We will do another one as well. I'll try and talk a wee bit slower. Yes, so factors, with times in the first number by the last number. And just when it's grade 7, if there's no number in front, you just don't do that. You just use the last number. But if it's a grade 7, there's a number in front, you times to get those, and you find factors of whatever number you get as an answer. And then once you've got those factors, you put them into a bracket with whatever amount of x's you've got in the question. Just lose the squared. So you put whatever amount of x's you've got in the brackets, and then you divide one of them by that number. Whichever one will divide it. And there you are. Does that make sense, Akila? Is that all good? We will be doing another one, but hopefully that all makes sense. Perfect, no problem. We'll do another one as well. So if you still a bit stuck, we'll do another one. Cool, let's move on then. See what we'll get next. Grand. Another 2x squared one. I think we've only got 2x squareds. That's most common. You only get 2x squareds. Just 3, 4, 5 gets two big numbers at the end one. But if it was anything other than a 2x squared, it'd be the same thing. Exactly the same method, just with a number that isn't 2, essentially. So there you have it. Got this one. 2x squared minus 9x plus 10. 2x squared minus 9x plus 10. And this will be our last question before we have a tune mark at the end. That'll be answered in a second, don't worry. That I shall answer at the end. But try not to spam caps because it'll delete you. If you asked that without caps, then it would have been fine. So try asking it without caps. Then it would have been right. But don't worry, save that, Mikhail. Save that to the end of the lesson, and I will explain that one. I can talk through that, no problemos. Right, so I'll give you one more minute. I'll give you until 53, then we'll go through it. Wait, so we got our last couple of answers. Then we can carry on. Also 53. Let's have a look. So let's have a go. So first thing we're going to do then is we are going to times the first by the last. So we're going to times the first one by the last one to get our times number. That's going to be times in to make 20. And then adding to get the middle number, which in this case is minus 9. That's the first step. Times to make the times. First by last to make 20. Then middle is 9. Then we are going to list our factors of this one there. No, this is higher. This is grade 7. So technically like grade A. This is grade 7 stuff here. So it's quite tricky. Not easy. Grade 7. And then we're going to list our factors of 20, which are going to be 1 and 20. 2 and 10, 3 doesn't go into it, and then 4 and 5. And then out of these options, the one that's going to give us 9 has to be 4 and 5. None of these other ones can give us 9 in any way, shape or form, so those are going to go. And then to get minus 9, we're going to have to do minus 4 minus another 5 to get us down there, which is good for us because minus times minus is also a plus. So it all works out well. Then what we're going to do is put these into our brackets. I'm going to open them up, and then it's a 2x square, so I'm going to put 2x in both of these, 2x and 2x. Then in one of them I'm going to get a minus 4, and the other one I'm going to get a minus 5. Okay, And then I'm going to look at this one. Is there anything I can divide out of here? And yeah, both of these are divisible by 2. Perfect. So I'm going to divide these ones by 2. I'm going to get x minus 2. And then this bracket, none of those will divisible by anything. So I'm going to leave it as 2x minus 5. And there we have it. Cool. Does anybody have any questions at all about any of that? Before we leave up today, that was going to be our last question. Does anybody have any questions about that before we finish up? It is, but then I got rid of it. It is. You are right. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. But notice how I didn't keep it that way. I got rid of it. I deleted it. Went from that to that. So I got x by 2x. That makes x 2x squared. Yes, I'm every Monday. Fliss is Tuesday with coding, and then Enketia is Thursday for study skills. Cool. If you'd like to know the one, Akila, I don't have any other questions with me. Don't worry, I'm going to ask. Don't worry, Mikhail. I've got it stored in here. I'm going to answer it. If you want to do some more, I don't have time, unfortunately, because I answer some questions and then I've got to go teach them from physics at 6 o'clock, so I've got to go. But if you go onto Maths Genie's website, I'll write it down. Maths. That website there, very good website. They'll have, you go into the grade 7 section, there's going to be a lot more questions just like this in there, which is quite handy. So if you go into there, then it'll give you all the questions you need. And if you still have any problems, feel free to come back next week if you like, and we can start a question. The next one's going to be one of these again. So we're going to do one more next week. Cool. Okie dokie. I assume I was being a bit zealous, over keen. But if we could stop shouting, then Sheila's won't go off as much. So maybe don't do that. Cool then. So science, there's going to be no science ones, unfortunately. So it's going to be maths Monday with me, and then there's Fliss Tuesdays, same time with coding, and then Enketia Fridays with study skills. So no science ones, it's just because we're just trialing them for now. I might roll out more in the future, we don't know, but we're just trialing them for now, see how people like them and such. Cool, so that was that question. So no science, just maths, coding, study skills. I think it's Python and study skills. Okay, and then plans for the next couple of weeks. Got it on my phone, hence me bringing up my phone. So next week we are going to do trigonometry. So we're going to do SOHCAHTOA, Pythagoras, sine rule, cosine rule. We're going to do that. And then week after that, we're going to do some displaying data. We're going to do 2-part series next week and week after. We're going to do scatter graphs and pie charts week after that. And then we're going to do mean, median, mode, and range. And then box plots / cumulative frequency graphs. We're going to do that. And then week after that, probability, then ratio, then straight line graphs and inequalities on graphs. Then angles of parallel lines and circle theorems, then simultaneous equations with grade 5 and grade 9. That's the plans. That's what we're going to do. Cool. So that's just answered. There we are. So that's what we're doing in the future. Loads of good stuff. And then I think, Akila, your question earlier was, how do you get better at maths? Essentially, I think, is how do you improve your math grade, I believe. And with that, all it is practice. That's what I would do. All you need to do is practice a little bit. So I would go on to, I know it's hard, some people don't like maths at all. It's difficult for a lot of people. But I would personally do past papers, and then the questions you get wrong, do a load of them. Because I think the saying goes, if you you need to practice maths until you can't get it wrong, rather than getting it right. If that makes sense. So you practice math until you can't get it wrong. So I would do a bunch of past papers, as many as you can fit in, and then on the questions you get wrong, do more practice questions on the side, if that makes sense. So go on to Maths Genie, MME, Maths Made Easy, Physics and Maths Tutor. Go on all of those, loads of questions, and just do loads and loads and loads of questions. Because maths, you don't really need to learn anything. It's just all practice based. essentially. No learning involved, just doing loads and loads of practice work. That's all it is. Cool. Okie dokie then. Any other questions? We've got 1 more minute before I have to run away. Any other questions before we leave off? Okay. Trig regression and graphs. We're gonna do graphs and not trig equations because that's add maths. That's further. So we're gonna do trigonometry, like the triangles, rather than like trig functions. We're gonna do that, and then yeah, fun straight line graphs as well. That's okay. Don't worry. Ignore Streamlabs. Just ignore it. Don't worry. Doesn't matter. Cool then. So I'm gonna let you all go. So I've got a lesson to teach. I'm going to do some physics, EM induction, unfortunately. I know, what bummer of a topic, but must be done. So I'm going to go away, teach that. Hope you've all enjoyed. Hope I'll see you all here again next week to do some trigonometry. So that'll be fun. Grand. So, reloading. That's different. So higher than that 5, that's Scotland. You must be Scottish. Grade 5 and 7. So 5 is like a C, 7 is like an A. And there we are. Cool. Right, I've got to go. I've got to run. But see you all next week. Have a lovely time, and I will see you all next week.